Hello Year 11s. We are going to quickly talk today about some of the things you need to know regarding Excel for your final field report that you need to come up with. Today I'm going to look at a few things about how you're going to clean your data and homogenize your entries, how you consolidate your data. You'll then need to look at how you pick out some variables that you believe may show a trend, a pattern, or have some relationship. Then we'll have a quick look at how to graph items, but most of you are pretty aware of how to do that. But more importantly, how you can graph items for comparison using multi-axis graphs. If I switch to our field data that we've collected, everyone should have a copy of this, and if you don't, you need to talk to us immediately because you should have your eyes running over this for a few lessons now. We've got a bit of a mess. We've got stuff everywhere, which is part of our data collection, that doesn't really, or it hasn't been collated, hasn't been drawn together. So our primary task is to create a summary page that we can group all our data, aggregate it, put it into one place, and see if we can draw some conclusions from that. We want our data to tell us a story. So I've gone ahead and done that. I've made a summary page, as you can see here. And in that, I've just written down the things we looked at. We've got quadrants 1 to 5. We looked at biodiversity index, pH, salinity. There's our abiotic factors. We also have a list of our biotic factors. For this case, I've just got species name and rank abundance. That is by no means the only thing you should be looking at. This is just an example for you. In this case, I've also taken those values and consolidated them. I'm going to show you how I've done that. So we're going to do that for quadrant 3 now. So I'm going to go to quadrant 3 and select the data I want to clean up, effectively. So in this case, I want the species name and rank abundance. I want to select all of this data, scrolling down as quick as my slow computer can go. There. I'm going to copy that, right-click copy, head back to my summary page, and just dump it down the bottom here. Okay, because we still need to manipulate it. I don't want this total number, so I'm going to select that column, just the part that I want to delete, not the entire column. Okay, and right-click and delete, like so. I want to shift those cells left, so that's going to move my rank abundance and all of that data there to the left and replace that total number there. If you just hit delete, it'll clear the values and leave blank cells there. We don't want blank cells. I'm then going to select number 48 here. That's my 48th row. If I drag down to 57, I've selected that entire row. I'm going to delete that. I don't want it. I want to get rid of all my blanks. I can do this at the same time with all of the sections. I go 51 to 58 now. Scroll down. Hold Control or Command if you're using a Mac. Then select the ones you want to delete, just like so. Okay. So this will drag all of this together. So selecting the rows I don't want. Right-clicking on that and hitting delete. Again, if you just hit clear, you're not going to have a good time. It's just going to remove everything from the cells but leave the cells. We want to get rid of them completely. Okay, from here I can see that my data doesn't look terrible. This no data change of method, that was when we changed the goalpost on the day. I'm going to get rid of that. It tells me nothing. Okay. Now, I've got data everywhere from our 2 class group. I'm going to organize that so I can, again, collate things together. In this case, I'm going to go to data up the top. I'm going to pin my ribbon so you can see it at all times. I go to data, go to sort, and I want to sort my column A by species name, just by value A to Z. So it'll just group things that are the same. Now, baby mangroves. I don't know who in my class counted that. I'm not going to point out anyone. I think that's redundant values. I think that would be either an orange mangrove or a grey mangrove, small one. Because we can't tell, I'm going to delete that. Okay, it means nothing to me. Now, I'm going to collect things that are the same. So I've got grey mangrove, grey mangrove. Okay, if we try and collate that data together, it'll give me 3 different things. Okay, It'll give me grey. It'll give me grey mangrove with a percentage beside it, and grey mangrove with a single number. Alright, so we've got to do two things there. One, I'm going to drag this one up, because I want grey mangrove all to be the same. Okay, if there's even a space after, when we try and use Excel, it will say that that is one type and that is another type. So we don't want to have different wording here, or even a different space. For my rank abundance, you can either leave it as a percentage or a whole number. I'm just going to go to a whole number. So I'm going to go to my home ribbon, click on number. Okay, and that'll just give me a decimal place. It's exactly the same as a percentage, just in a decimal. It's however you like it. That's how I'm going to leave it for mine. Crab or crabs, I'm going to make it, only got mud crabs as well. Okay, so those, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of words for the same thing. I'm going to leave it as mud crabs. I'm going to copy this one and paste it over top of those. So we know it's the same thing. We're just homogenizing our wording. Orange mangrove, I'm going to just drag that down to make sure they're all the same. Red mangrove, drag that one up to make it the same. Small crab, I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to imagine it's a mud crab or a fiddler crab. Who knows? But we're just saying it's a crab. Small leaf orange mangrove and a large leaf orange mangrove. So we need to, again, homogenize. So I'm going to drag that one down and I'm going to make it a large leaf. So copy that one, repaste that. And a worm, good on you for finding a worm on the day. Alright, so now my values there are all homogenized. These orange mangroves have all the same spelling, and that's important for our next step. So my next step, I want to put, this is my quadrant 3 data, and I want to put it over here in this summary section here. So I've just made these up earlier on to kind of group my stuff together. You'll have to do that for the stuff you are working with. Again, it shouldn't just be rank abundance. You can look at density, you can look at total number, up to you. To consolidate, we go up to our ribbon at the top and click on data, the data ribbon, and we find the consolidate under data tools at the top here. Click on that. Okay, I'm going to delete the old one that was there. You've got a few options. So sometimes you're doing this, you want to add everything together. If you've counted a number of things, you can sum that up. Or if you wanted to count how many things there are, you could do that as well. In this case, we want to find an average. You want to average our values together. Okay, so we've worked out or calculated the rank abundance for several sections. We are wanting to now average those out so we know that we're on the right track. Okay, balancing out any highs and lows. The reference, that is the information that I want to actually consolidate, and that is down here where I dumped it earlier. Okay, I just want the words. So this is the large leaf down to worm. I don't want species name or rank abundance to be included in that consolidation. That's just my headings. I want to use the labels in the left column. So we want to use these words to be consolidated. So it's going to use these words to the left and average the numbers on the right. So I click on OK and go back up to where I've left it. And we've got a lovely looking section there. So you can go ahead and do that for quadrant 1 to 5. For each of these, and you can then compare across the board. You may just want to compare just the trees, just the mangroves, so you can copy paste this, and I've done that similar up here. Unhide. So I've done that for that. So you could just grab out the trees, and you can maybe make a graph with just the trees across all 5 quadrants, comparing how the grey mangroves becomes more abundant as you go across the quadrants. And if we look down here, it'd be 0.25, so it goes up and then down. Maybe that has something to do with something else. Up to you to find that information. Okay, hide that again. Next, so for my next section, I want to talk about our data and how to make a graph. Okay, so your job is to come out and pick out some variables that you think may show a trend or a pattern. For that, I'm going to demonstrate using the biodiversity index and some fake data that I've put in here, just some topology. So I'm imagining that if I'd measured the sea level of my different sites, there might be a pattern that I can find in that. Okay, to make just a standard graph, we can go up to insert. You can click on recommended charts or any of these up here. Up here, I would like probably a line chart if I was just doing the biodiversity. And I'd get this guy here, just make it a bit bigger so we can all see. You can see that it dips down and then picks back up. Of course, if you were giving a proper chart, you'd want the full layout, so I'd expect an axis title, for both top and bottom, and a legend over the left hand side there. If you've got an axis title like this, you don't have to always type each one. You can just click on it, go up to this top address bar, the formula bar here, hit equals, and then select the cell that it may have come from, and that will autofill for you. Okay, same with the biodiversity index if you've got one, but for this I would add biodiversity index per quadrant, or quadrat I should say, or per site, and then of course site. Okay, and that will give me a nice solid graph. More importantly, I would probably find more useful information in comparing my biodiversity index to my, again, falsified topology. To do that, we can select that data again, go up to Insert, and click on Charts. Now, I'm going to just put in a line chart to begin with, but that's not really showing much. You've got two different scaled items here, one that's between 0 and 1, and one that's meters above. So obviously there's not a clear pattern in there. But what you can do is you can go to change chart type, and you go to the very bottom here and you go combination. So here we can actually drop one of these onto a secondary axis. So in this case I'm going to put my topology over to the right hand side on a secondary axis. That will give me my biodiversity on my left axis, and the topology, the meters above sea level, on the right. For both of these I want a line because a column doesn't make sense in this data, and I've got a very interesting pattern maybe because it's been falsified. Okay, I'm going to hit OK for that. Make it a bit bigger so we can see it on the screen. So I have some data here. I've got a biodiversity index in blue and my falsified topology in orange there, and I can see that there's a clear pattern. Okay, I would say that these are proportional, positively proportional. Okay, when one goes down, the other goes down. When one goes up, the other goes up, and that's something I could talk about. I could also talk about this widening gap, although there's still a positive proportionality there to a degree. Again, falsified information. You need to be looking at what you can compare across your different options, either the pH or abiotic factors or other biotic factors. Okay, you could talk about how orange mangroves are more common when there's mud crabs or something like that. Okay, that's just an example of what you could be talking about. But we talk a lot of data: pH, salinity, soil moisture, air temperature, soil temperature. I'd be looking for data amongst that to see if anything else makes sense. That's it for now. If you have any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Come find me. Thanks very much.